What's up, gamers? The new tier list for Honkai Star Rail is here. I'm gonna look over it today, tell you what my thoughts are on it. Is it good? Is it bad? Have we moved characters down that shouldn't be moved down? Have we moved characters up that shouldn't be moved up at all? So we're gonna be taking a look at this today. I got a glimpse of it the other day when I was talking about why to skip all of 2.4 or whatever. But we're gonna go over a full review of my tier list today, going over Pure Fiction, Apocalyptic Shadow, and Pure Memory of Chaos. What am I doing? I'm coping. Anyways, gamers, let's go ahead and start off with Sustain first. So, first things first on the docket here, honestly, I think Hua Hua should be moved up. I've always said this, I think Hua Hua is probably the best sustained character in the game, so I think she should be moved up here with the Venturine. Probably move the Venturine down just a tad bit here, just because I think she does offer a little bit more in terms of versatility than he can. Now, I do think he can keep the team alive better than she can, because you don't really have an oh shit button, whereas with him, I guess his ultimate can be considered an oh shit button, but you have to get kind of lucky to get the shield put up from it. And then also every time he hits a follow-up attack, you get shield as well, so you're getting a lot more shielding done with him than you were getting heals with her. So I can understand why he's a better, I guess, sustained character than she is, but overall, I think her versatility with giving energy and attack percent bonus. Now, do I think he should move down a tier? Absolutely not, because he works in teams really well, like with Acheron teams and stuff like that. So I think these two on the same level are going to be fine here, but I do think she should be moved up. As far as for Fu Xuan, I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. I think as far as these go, this might get me a lot of hate, a lot of controversy here. I think Bailu, honestly, probably moves down tier 3 for me. I think Lynx probably moves down into the tier 2 with me with Japard. I do think there is a clear gap in what Lynx can do versus what Locha can do in terms of sustainability. I think there is a gap in between these two characters and what he can do. So I do think that tier 1.5 would be clear for this. Move Bailu down one tier. I think she is okay to use. I think Japard can be a bit better, especially on Acheron teams. If you throw the Trends of Universal Market Light Cone on him, then you stack him up with as much energy regen as possible, get his shields going up almost all the time, I think he does sit up here, right? I think he is very comfortable in tier 2. Now, this is all the, I guess, changes I wanted to make here. I'm not going to be so harsh, not move her down there just yet. We might wait another patch, maybe until Ling Sha comes out. Maybe we move her down when Ling Sha comes out, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Now, let's go ahead and hop over here into the amplifier tier. Personally, I believe that, yeah, Ruan Mei's still at the top. I think she is still the queen of this shit. I think she still pops off in just about everything. Moving down here into what? This is tier 0.5 now, right? Yeah, tier 0.5. I think Robin stays here. This might be a hot take. I think, honestly, Sparkle moves down into this tier right here. Now, before you guys flame me, because I know I'm going to get flamed for saying this, now the only reason I think she moves down here is because I think we've seen a drop in quality of the units we have that really take use of her, right? Like, I mean, we have Dr. Ratio up here, right? I think Dr. Ratio is a fine pick to put up here, but at the end of the day, who is really taking use of her, right? We have already seen units like Danny and both Jingliu, which we'll get a reason on when we get to there in a second, already moved down to tier 1, right? So every one that Sparkle's really good with, she hasn't gotten like a new character that really utilizes what she can do. It's a lot of older units that can kind of utilize what she can do, but I don't think she's popping off as much with the characters we currently have in the game. We haven't really got that new refreshing unit that can make her pop the absolute shit off. Like I said, I don't think she's bad. I just think the characters we have right now really don't benefit her as much, which is why I would be moving her down into tier 1 right here. I think she is on the level of Ting Yun because I'd use her just about as much as Ting Yun. I mean, like, these are good units or whatever, but I genuinely think she's only as strong as what the best DPS for her are, right? Like, Dr. Ratio, yeah, you can use Dr. Ratio with her, but you're missing out on all of his debuffs if you do that, right? You would much rather use Dr. Ratio on a follow-up debuff team versus using her on the team. So, for that reason, I would be moving her down to tier 1 on par with what her best in slot is, or the best DPS for her is, right? Me, personally, I probably wouldn't have Silverwolf up here in tier 1. I would probably be moving Silverwolf down here as well to tier 1.5. I just don't think she works as well as Ting Yun does here. I think both Sparkle and Ting Yun work really well on a multitude of teams. I just think that these don't work on every single team that you would want to throw them. Yeah, you do what? Why would you say that? You can switch her typings with her, and then she throws debuffs off. She's really good for Acheron. Sure, valid argument, right? I just personally don't think with the DPS we're currently getting in the game, like Firefly, like even Acheron, for example, right? A Boot Hill is a great example here too. They are able to basically just bypass the toughness of the enemy. Even March 7th is now able to bypass toughness of enemies, which makes one of the main draws of her kit just appreciate in value so much. So I think for me, she goes down here in tier 1.5. So the reason why prydwyns moving her up is because they see a consistently high usage rate. Yeah, I can see that, right? Okay, I can kind of agree with the usage rate, right? If the usage rate is high, maybe she does deserve to be up there. Like if she is great for both of these teams, then sure, put her up there, right? Me personally, I think there are better options to use on a team with her, even if the usage rate is high with her. I don't think that should bypass the fact that there are better units for those teams, and for that reason, I would be moving her down into here. I've been saying this since day one, guys. Dude, I do not like Bronya. For me, Bronya is just an SP inefficient, stupid... Let me stop coping here. Very biased take. I would probably be moving her down here with my biased opinion, but realistically, she does gap what Asta can do. So, yeah, I think we leave her up here in tier 1.5. I think Asta stays right here. Asta even got moved up. Yeah, the usage rate with Asta has moved up quite a bit. I'm curious to see why they moved her up in rank. So let's check really quick. She used in Firefly Super Break team as an alternate for Ruan Mei, and also seen in dot teams. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think I've always said is Asta is like still a really good solid unit to build. You go check out my build guide on that if you haven't already. But yeah, I think she does deserve to be up here. Honestly, I think Yukong deserves to move up to tier 3 as well. I think she's on par with Miss, whatever her name is, what is Hanya, right? I think she's on par with Hanya. I think she really does play well with Yunli over here. And I think she does play really well with backloaded type units. We also made a build guide on her talking about all of this and seeing where she actually works well at. She's very hard to play, but I think the buffs she can provide can really work out well for you. Especially if you're playing on a team with Yunli, right? Yunli really does not play very well, like using auto. So I think using a character like Yukong on the team, which requires you to actually play the game, I think that she would be moving up to tier 3 for me. I guess one more point I want to make here, I've always seen Payla on the same tier as Silverwolf, especially as we get more characters added into the game that can change type. But yeah, this is my list for these characters now. Let's go ahead and move over to what, the specialist now? Specialist category. So first things first, yeah, I agree. She's up here. She gaps, 100% Firefly is up here. These three characters up here, absolutely agree with that right there as well. I've always said it, I think that Kafka should be as strong as the strongest dot character in the game, and if Black Swan is that strongest dot character at tier 0.5, Kafka should be there as well because she reprocs those dots. She gives you the damage back for that. Boot Hill being up here? Hot take. Boot Hill's strong, but I think Boot Hill's tier 1. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen people trying to use Boot Hill in these new MOCs and get absolutely lapped up with him because he's just dying so quick. So yeah, maybe we move him down into tier 1. He can be quite inconsistent, more inconsistent than Firefly. So for that reason, I'd be moving him down to tier 1. I think he's a really good damage dealer. I don't think he's as consistent as I would like him to be. So for that reason, moving him down to tier 1. I think March 7th probably moves down into tier 1.5, if I'm being honest with you, because I don't think she's on the same level as Boot Hill, nor do I think she's on the same level of Topaz. Not to say that she's not good. I think she does move down here to tier 1.5. I think this is a little bit of overglazing for March 7th. We probably can see the reason why she's here, right? She's an exceptionally strong character with a kid halfway between damage dealer and support, breaker, crit carry. Yeah, she's very versatile, right? But I don't think she's like a master of really any one thing, whereas Topaz is kind of like the master of a follow-up team. She kind of enables the fuck out of a follow-up team. So I think for that reason, we move March 7th down. Boot Hill drops here. She drops to tier 1.5. I think she is better than Guanifin, Luca, and Zhuai, but I don't think she's as good as Boot Hill and or Topaz as well, so we're going to be moving her down there. Now, let's go ahead and hop into tier 2. Guanifin, I love to see Guanifin moved up. Let's see the reason what they moved Guanifin up for. Yeah, so the reason they give Guanifin for moving her up on the list here, I can actually agree with that. A lot of people do use her. I've been praising her since day one. I've always think she should be tier 2. Like, she is a jack of all trades. She's really a master of none, but the big thing with her is she can just do so many things, and you can put her on so many different teams that she can absolutely pop off in those teams and really help a lot of free-to-play players out. I believe she brings a lot of value to your account. I think she's an absolute must-build if you're just starting the game out because she can help so many teams out. Yeah, so yeah, for me personally, yeah, she stays right here. I think she is tier 2. Luca stays here as well. I think Luca is an absolute menace. Same with Zhuai. See, I've always disagreed with this. I don't think Jade should be here. I think Jade should be probably up here, tier 1.5, if I'm being honest with you. I really disagree with Jade being down in tier 3. I think she does perform quite well, and even in Memory of Chaos, so I think she should be here in tier 1.5 as well. There's no shot that, like, her versatility and usability is really worse than what March 7th can provide, so yeah, for me, I would be putting her up here, right? Let me move away all these circles. Yeah, for me, Jade moves up here into tier 1.5 as well. I think that's where she belongs. Sampo moving down, I can agree with it. His usage rate probably pretty low now. You really only use them on a team with Black Swan. Maybe when Black Swan comes back around and maybe we get Lingshaw or someone that helps dots more added to the game, maybe he moves back up. When the dots rise back up, I swear to God, he'll be back up there. Now, as far as this goes, right? Honestly, I think Shushong moves up. I think she is better than what Fire MC can provide, like on a whole different level there. So I do think that, yeah, Miss Shushong would move up for me as well to tier 3, but that's just me kind of nitpicking here. Now let's move on to our final tier here, which is our DPS category. So first of all, Acheron, yep, absolutely check mark there. That's amazing. We love to see that. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Dr. Ratio being moved up. Let's see why Dr. Ratio got moved up here. Tier 0.5 consistently perform above expectations in MOC 12. Of 2.x, surprising us. Okay, I would think that he's on the same level as these guys right here. They used to be like, he used to be ranked lower, I believe, right, than both of these guys here. I do think he's on the same level, and I do think there's a clear gap between what he can do and what Acheron can do still. So me personally, I would probably put him on the same tier as both Jingle Yu and Dragon Danny and Yunli as well. And then there's a clear gap of what everyone else can do, and then Acheron, right? I still believe that till this day. So for me personally, I do think he's good. I think he should be on the same tier as Danny and Jingle Yu, but not below or above their tier. I think he can provide very similar amounts of comparability to what they can provide there. Now, Yunli being up here, yeah, I can agree with that. She's just kind of hard to play. That's just really all it is to it. She can do massive damage. She can compete with damage like Acheron. You just have to be able to play her correctly and, you know, use your brain and play her. And yeah, if you're not using your brain and play her, she's probably down here. But if you're using your brain and playing her, I would say she's probably tier 0.5, probably not in the level of Acheron, but yeah, I think very, very close. Now let's move on to tier 1.5. Yeah, I think Clara probably deserves to be here, right? QQ? I tried using QQ, and I've recently tried using QQ, and she gave me some fucking issues, dude. But overall, I do think she's, yeah, probably tiers 1.5 is probably correct for both of these guys here. I still don't like Zila. I think she's just getting worse and worse with every single patch. Fight me in the comment section on that. I am not a Zila shill. I'm a Zila hater. And, yeah, I don't think she's getting any better. I think there's not really any way that they could fix her kit unless they make her kill more effectively. So, yeah, there's a cap to what Zila can do. So, I think, yeah, this being here is completely fine. Honestly, our general Jenga wins, bro. Oh, yikes. I would probably, honestly, I'd probably be moving our general down here to tier 2. Might get a hate from the Jingyuan mains here, and I have Jingyuan. I have his S2 light cone as well, and yeah, I think that these characters just perform a bit better with him. They're a bit more consistent than him, and yeah, even with all the support follow-ups he's gotten, yeah, I can see Jingyuan moving down. I just see him being a little bit more inconsistent. He hasn't got a lot of indirect buffs recently that like really enhance his style of gameplay. Like if I'm using a follow-up team, I would rather just use like Dr. Ratio, this, and someone else on the team, right? Like, I just can't really find myself using Mr. Jingyuan here, our general Jingyuan, right? So, yeah, he's going to move down here to tier 2 for me. Himiko moving up, yeah, that's fine. I think Himiko moves up. Blade, honestly, I would say Blade moves up here. Honestly, with the addition of Jade added to the game, I think that, that he moves up here. I think if we're talking in terms of, like, equalness, I think that they are like locked hand in hand. I would be moving him up to tier 2 because I think that Jade enhances his playstyle so much. Moving down here, Argenti, I agree with. Misa, I kind of agree with. Serval, I agree with. Yeah, I agree with basically everyone. Bro, what the fuck did they do this to my move him up. Move him up. Him and March 7th on the same team, gonna pop off, trust. Okay, move Yangqing up. There's no shot that he should be down here. Move this soy boy down here, okay? We don't like him up there. Move him down, move him up. I think that's where he belongs. But, guys, this is gonna be my tier list for MOC. Let's go ahead and briefly talk about the other 2 tier lists added to the game now. Oh, and then one thing I forgot to check is both Jingle Yu and Imbibber de Lune. Okay, so I do have a problem with this, right? They're moving Jingle Yu and Imbibber de Lune down because they can't brute force. And while I do agree with that, I think that they cannot brute force anymore, or as effectively as they once could, I think that Dr. Ratio can't really brute force that shit either. honestly, he requires a lot on his team to actually pop off and work with. And there's no shot that he's brute forcing everything. I use Dr. Ratio on my follow-up team, but there's no shot I'm using Dr. Ratio on a follow-up team that's not weak against Imaginary. There's just no shot. So for that, yeah, Dr. Ratio gets moved down here with them. Absolutely. That solidifies that even more. I think that Dr. Ratio is just on the same level as them, not better. All right, gamers, now let's go ahead and quickly go over and review the Pure Fiction list here. I think this is fairly accurate for this. Like I said, I think that she should be moved up here still. I think that's where she belongs. These two being up here, I can agree with that. I think her and Pure Fiction does work a little bit better, especially for other teams to get them to move a bit faster. So I can agree with her being there. I think those two are pretty on par there. Yeah, this does not fucking work. Actually, move her ass down here, bro. I don't like her, dumbass. Yeah, move her down there. I think Silver belongs there. That belongs there. Pela belongs there. AoE, very nice. Ooh, yep, tier 0. Yep, I agree with that 100%. Yep, that's pretty agreeable. That's pretty agreeable. Yep, that maybe, yeah, I think that's pretty agreeable as well. I think honestly anything below like tier 1.5 is very hard and kind of unbearable to use in Pure Fiction at this point. So I wouldn't even be putting them in the running for using them in Pure Fiction if I'm being honest with you guys. So yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with just about everything down here, guys. Hopping onto the DPS, yeah, absolutely, they're on the same tier. I think he's here as well. Actually, honestly, I think Argenti probably like down here now. Like, I have Argenti, and I use Argenti in Pure Fiction. I think he's about the same as what Clara and Yunli can do, right? And I think, as far as this goes, right, Yunli right here, I think that wherever Clara's out, she has to be that tier or better because she works basically the same way as Clara does. Honestly, I'd be moving Blade up here. I think Blade's very effective in that because there are so many things getting hit on the field. I think he is very effective. Bro, absolutely not. Our General Jingyuan, move his ass down. Actually, move his ass down here. I do not like Jingyuan in Pure Fiction one bit. Move his ass down here. Dude, I don't know why I'm like Jingyuan hate as of right now, but yeah, I do not like Jingyuan in this Pure Fiction. And if Topaz is going to be right here, I can see Topaz being used in like a team with like other follow-up characters, which makes her really good. So maybe move her up here just because of her viability as like a support type character. But yeah, overall, this is my Pure Fiction tier list. Let's go ahead and hop into our Apocalyptic Shadow. Then we'll talk about all of our new characters getting added to the game, like Fi Zhao and the other ones that are coming out. Yeah. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, as far as this Apocalyptic Shadow list, I mean, I think this is pretty accurate. I mean, let me know in the comment section down below, do you disagree with anything on this particular list right here? Because I kind of agree with just about everything here, right? Like, there's a couple gripes that I had with the Pure Fiction one, but this one right here I think is pretty accurate, pretty solid. I don't think there's really anything that needs to move here, actually. So let me go now and talk about where I think Fi Zhao, Ling Sha, and also our new, what is his name, Mose? Yeah, that's his name, welcome to Mose. Where his ass gonna be at. So if I'm thinking, where is our new mommy gonna be at? I think our new mommy Fi Zhao gonna be right here, right in between tier 0.5, tier 0. I haven't seen like leaked damage numbers and stuff like that, so I don't know if she compares with like Acheron or anything like that, but I think from her animations that I maybe have seen that you know, you can tell a lot from animations. If the animations pop off, normally the character will pop off. That's what we saw with Acheron, so it surely is the same for her, right? So maybe she sits on like same level or maybe a tad bit below Acheron because I know like they like making their May characters just reign supreme, right? So I think that maybe she sits right here or maybe on par with Acheron. That's where I'm thinking Fex, that's what we're going to call her, Fex. She's going to be right in this area right here. I think she sits either right above tier 0.5 or probably in tier 0 right behind Acheron or in front of Acheron. I think it'll be hard to say. Ling Sha. I think Ling Sha, her kit maybe looks kind of cool. I think her kit is probably going to be tier 0 if I'm being honest with you, right? If she's being touted as being the Gallagher killer and Gallagher is ranked tier 0.5, if she's being touted as this Gallagher killer, as everyone's making her out to be, then she should be tier 0. She should just absolutely be tier 0 because he's already tier 0.5. So she should be up here, tier 0. If she kills him, it's what everyone says, right? You guys can't, hey, don't cop out now. You are the ones that said that she is going to be the Gallagher killer, the one that kills Gallagher, okay? So with that logic, she is definitely up here in tier 0, okay? And I also think she's up here in tier 0 as well. So 3 S tier sustained characters, a-okay by me. Now, where do I think Mose is going to be, right? Now, Mose, I think, is going to be a supportive type character. I think if they're running him on the same banner, honestly, guys, I think he's just going to be very supportive of Fi Zhao. So I think we throw him in the specialist here. I could be wrong on this. Please correct me in the comment section, God, if I'm not right. Yeah, I think he's right here. I think he's tier 1. I don't think he's tier 0.5. I don't think he actually might be tier 1.5. I do think he has to be very similar, I think he has to be very similar to what March could do. So my first thought is probably put him here in tier 1. Maybe he doesn't work out the way I think he's going to work out. He's maybe tier 1.5. That's where I'm thinking he's sitting at, which is a really good look considering we only have, wait, 1, 2, 3 other 4-star characters above this tier 1 mark right here, or in the tier 1 mark and above right here. So that'll be really good for your account. That's why I think that version 2.5 is like a must pull for a lot of free-to-play players, just because these characters will give you a lot of longevity and just give you a very good start for your account, because we'll probably get a lot more decent 4-stars than we're getting right now in the banners, plus him, plus these 2 characters. Absolutely amazing. That's all that I can really say in today's video, gamers. Tell me, what are your thoughts, right? What do you think about the tier list? Did I make any wrong assumptions? Because you probably will think I did. Anyways, bye gamers. See you later. Hope you have a good one. And subscribe if you haven't already and you got to this point in this long ass video, brother.